Yep. Excellent. So do I have to, when I read the things, do I have to say anything else?
The resolutions?
Yeah, because it's early on, right?
It is right here.
So, oh, but it's going to be me.
It'd be.
Or do you want John to
I'd
read
call. It doesn't matter. Keith wrote John when he wrote it up, but
them? Keith wrote it up.
yeah. You think I'm smart enough to do this?
Well, I tried to find mine. Is this on? I tried to find mine, and because I had it from that one time when John was sick, I couldn't find it. But this is great.
So, what happens? I'll call you up here, and then you'll read the resolutions 1 through 16, and
So about when you're talking about the agenda. Okay.
Yeah.
But do I have to? Yeah. Okay.
I should grab a written copy of the gen of the
Yeah.
annual report too.
I need mine just because I'm going to read it right out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'll come up. In 3 minutes, I'll come up.
Yeah. Let's see. So we need. I thought it was more when I was looking at Pastor's report. No, I read it. 588 confirmed members, Pastor. So that means we need 58 people.
Oh, is that what's listed?
Yeah, that's what was in your report.
All right, then we need 58 people. Is mine notes just have 420, I think. So, if it's in there, then it's got to, that's what it's got to be. 58.
829 baptized members, 588 confirmed.
We need to,
We need a lot more.
we need 58. Well, they're coming in. Because I didn't know if you knew. They're getting them now. They're all here. 58. Because she said it listed confirmed in yours 500.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. There's nobody to run the sound up there. Is it on? Okay. Can everybody start to gather so we can get a count of how many people are here? Two, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23. 61, so we're good. Okay. Good morning, everyone. We appreciate everybody coming to the annual meeting of the congregation today. I am Steve Nelson, as the president of the council. I'll be presiding over the meeting this morning. We have important business to conduct today, and we have a very specific agenda. So we're going to try and move ahead as fast as we can to not waste anybody's valuable time.
There are copies of the report in the basket if you didn't get one. Coming in.
We hope everybody took advantage of the cookies and the ice cream in the fellowship hall, and we appreciate the people that brought it for providing fellowship this morning. And on that note, I'll call the 157th annual meeting of the Mamrelund Lutheran Church Congregation to order. Pastor, would you like to lead us in prayer?
Dear Lord, we give you thanks for all these years of service at Mamrelund, and we ask for your Spirit's presence today to be with us as we continue to be your servants and to be a church for others. Bless us in our discernments, in our conversations, and our celebration today of another year of ministry at Mamrelund. Amen.
As there's 61 people in attendance today, we have a quorum. So our quorum has been found present. We'll designate Isaac Owens as the recording secretary, and Keith Anderson will designate as the parliamentarian, Gail and Susan Foxworthy as the tellers. The purpose of this meeting is to place before you written reports summarizing the ministry of the church for the previous year, and ask the endorsed candidates for leadership positions for 2024, as well as to approve recommendations by the elected council. As Pastor said, copies of the booklet are available in the back with the materials for consideration that we'll ask you to take action on. And the booklet was emailed to all households on Monday the 15th. Hopefully everyone has taken an opportunity to review the annual report prior to the meeting. Well, we will not take time to read all the reports. We'll give reasonable opportunity for you to question or make comments regarding the reports. I first direct your attention to the agenda on the inside front cover, which provides the proposed agenda for the meeting. The first business of the day will be to consider resolutions found on page 2, which includes the adoption of the agenda. Resolutions 1 through 9 establish the parameters for conducting today's business, as well as offering today's thanks and praise to God for recognizing the deep gratitude to those who have contributed themselves to our ministries. These acknowledgements justify our taking the time to read them publicly before you. I'll call on Marcy Toporski to come before us and read the resolutions.
Be it resolved that the agenda for the 2024 annual meeting of Mamrelund Lutheran Church be adopted. Be it resolved that we express thanks to God our Father for his blessings as we enter another year of service, and as members of Mamrelund Lutheran Church, we proclaim Christ is the way, the truth, the life, and that we shall follow his word. Be it resolved that we accept with great thankfulness and humility the personal prayers offered to our Father in heaven for Mamrelund Lutheran Church its members, and all its ministries. Be it resolved that we express gratitude to our fellow Christian congregations of the Northwest Lower Michigan Synod and our bishops, presiding Bishop Elizabeth Eaton, Bishop Craig Satterley, as well as our neighboring Christian churches for their partnership in our ministry. Be it resolved that we give thanks to Reverend Michael Conklin for his pastoral ministry to Mamrelund this past year. We also give thanks to Director of Youth and Family Ministry, Jeffrey Amelot, Building Superintendent Luciano Morales, Church musician Landon Knoppers, and office staff Michelle Conklin and Deb Mortensen for their dedication, love, and service to the congregation during this past year. Be it resolved that we give a rising vote of thanks for the faithful service of the Congregational Council, all standing committee members, special committees, particularly the church treasurer, the counting stewards, the members of the choir and others who provide music, the members of the praise team, the ushers, the lectors, the prayer assistants, the sound technicians, PowerPoint presenters, the acolytes, the Holy Communion assistants, the bell ringer, the Christian education leaders, teachers, and participants, including Sunday school, Vacation Bible School, confirmation classes, the junior and senior high youth groups and their sponsors, adult Bible study group, the women of the ELCA, the Altar Guild, the Sunshine Ministry, the members who pray for those in need, the synodical representatives, all of the volunteers who worked on the property of the church, all of the volunteers who assisted in the church office, and the volunteers who helped at the time of funerals, coffee fellowships, and other special occasions. Thanks also to those whose personal ministries lead them to donate money, time, or management skills to the ministries of Mamrelund, including the food pantry, Adopt a Family, clothing bank, and productive fellowship quilt makers so that others may have a better life. Please stand if you are able. Be it resolved that we stand and pause in reverent memory of the members who departed in 2023. Jack Swanson, Dolores Nyblad, Valerie House, Donald Peterson, Theodore Anderson, Ida McDougall, and Marjorie Larson. You may be seated. Be it resolved that the authorized offerings for 2024 include Lent, Thanksgiving, special benevolences, Easter, Christmas, World Hunger, the MLC Education Fund, Endowment Fund, Memorial Fund, Youth Investment Appeal, Memorial Garden Fund, Food Pantry, and the Moving Mamrelund Forward Fund. Be it resolved that the Congregational Council review and approve the minutes of this congregational meeting.
Thank you, Marcy. Is there a motion to adopt the resolutions?
Motion to adopt the resolutions as printed.
Is there a second? Did you get those, Isaac? John Buckley. Is there any discussion? Bearing no discussion, everyone in favor? The resolution is adopted. The minute.
Point of order, you need to ask whether anyone is opposed.
Okay. Is there anyone opposed? And then the resolutions are adopted. The minutes of last year's meeting, there were two congregational meetings held during 2023. The annual meeting held on January 22nd and a special meeting held on March 19th. The minutes for Those two meetings are printed on pages 3 to 6. I will entertain a motion to accept these two reports. Is there a second? Deb Bizard. Is there any discussion? Bearing no discussion, everyone in favor of accepting the reports? Anyone opposed? And the reports are passed. Written reports of the pastor and the youth director are found on pages 7 to 11. These reports do not require official action to accept them. Are there questions or comments regarding these reports? With no questions, we'll move on. A report of the Congregational Council actions from 2023 is found on page 12, followed by a message from the President on page 13. In addition, there are 7 standing committee reports of the Council. A report from each committee is found beginning on page 13, with witness and continuing with faith formation on page 14, fellowship on page 15 with property, social ministry on 17, the support on page 18, and the worship on page 19. These, again, are reports that do not require official action to accept them. We do welcome, however, questions or comments you may have regarding the work of the Council and its committees in the past year. These approximate 7 pages summarizing the work of the Council and its committees can scarcely provide the full story of the time and the effort, love, and devotion to serving the dozens, if not hundreds, of individuals we've devoted to serving and furthering the ministries of Mamrelund for the past year. Are there any questions or comments? Yeah, Chris?
Just word of thanks, really. Having been on council and committees for a long time here, the report length does not adequately show the effort and the time that's involved by those committee members and those committees. So, for the good of the church, I'd just like to say an extra thank you to all those that do what they do every week or every month or whatever it is, because to me it doesn't go unnoticed. And as I said, those reports do not actively show or reflect accurately, the amount of time that's spent by each of those committees and committee members.
Thank you, Chris, for your words of kindness. Is there any other questions or comments? And then we'll move on. In addition to our 7 permanent standing committees, there are 6 special committees with specialized tasks. I'd take a moment to point out these reports, beginning with Endowment Fund on page 20, the memorials also on page 20, the Memorial Garden on page 21, and the scholarship is on the back of page 16. The Mutual Ministry Committee on page 22, and the Sunshine Committee on page 23. Productive Fellowship on page 23, and we'll be remiss if we didn't also direct your attention to the report of the Productive Fellowship, one of the very best ministries we have. The quilt makers who bring joy and warmth to the scores of people every year with their quilt tying projects made and distributed this past year. They meet twice each month, and they're always welcome to new recruits. And on that note, we'll turn now to the financial reports.
Good morning. We'll start on page 24 with the designated account report. This is a breakdown of the funds that members have given, however designated for a specific purpose. This also means these funds are not used to cover normal operating expenses of the church, like payroll and utilities. The designated accounts are pretty self-explanatory, but we would be happy to answer any questions there are specific to the designated account report. Hearing no questions, we will look at the 2023 numbers on pages 27 and 29. At the top of page 27, you will see the financial report for 2023. We will look at how that compares to what was budgeted in just a moment. On the bottom of page 27 is the consolidated financial statement, which breaks down what we had on deposit in the bank on 12/31. At the end of 2023, we had $77,956, which is $43,193 more than we had in reserves at the end of last year. For comparison, at the end of 2022, we had $34,763 on deposit or in reserves that were available for general budget. On pages 28 and 29, you will see the 2023 budget and the 2023 actual numbers. The first column is the 2023 budget, or what we had planned for 2023. The middle column is the 2023 actual numbers, or what we took in and spent in 2023. At the top of page 28, the middle column, the total income for 2023 was $393,887, was 23% more than what we had projected. The total income was also much higher than the projected due to a large bequest or one-time gift, and this explains why we have more reserves going into this year. Total expenses, second to the bottom of the middle column, was $347,740 for 2023. That was down 11% to what we had projected. The salary expense in the middle column of the page 28 shows under budget, and that was a combination of a few things. The first pay in 2023 posted to the 2022 salary expense. In addition, our custodian was on a medical leave and paid through workers' comp insurance for part of the year. On page 29, property is our second highest operating expense after salary. Overall, we were under budget in property. This was primarily due to fuel and electricity being under budget due to price increases not being as much as projected and usage being overestimated. At the bottom of page 29 in the middle column is our actual income less expenses, which resulted in a positive $46,147 versus the deficit we projected of $69,762. This is good news. The income was more than projected expenses. At the end of the year, we still had $77,956 in reserves. Are there any questions on just the 2023 numbers before we move to the auditor's report?
With no questions or comments, let's move to the auditor's report. The transactions within each count have been audited, and along with the current valuation of each account is reported on page 25. The report has been prepared by a committee made up of Nancy Freeland, Cindy Schultz, and Paul Swanson. We thank those three for their willingness to take on this task to ensure the integrity of our bookkeeping. This report does not need action. However, we do welcome comments and questions for the auditing committee. With no questions, this will end the reporting portion of the meeting. Next, we turn to recommendations from the Church Council. And there are two of them, and we will take them one at a time. Number one is the proposed budget for 2024 as recommended by the council. And Karen, will you review the proposal?
Now we will look at the third column for the 2024 proposed budget, which council has approved for recommendation to the congregation. Starting with the projected income of $315,186, which is 2% less than we budgeted for last year based on the pledges we received. This is due to our pledges being down and no longer having income from Iglesias Day rental. Our proposed mission outreach is $15,000, is the same amount. You can see the total breakdown of mission outreach at the top of page 30. Annually, we only change who our annual mission partner is to support with $1,500. And in 2023, we supported Trinity Battle Creek, and the council will support it vote at an upcoming meeting to which partner we will support in 2024. The budget includes a 3% salary increase for the staff in 2024. Church staff is budgeted at $294,117. This does include an addition of the following items: $400 for staff appreciation, $720 for technology support, and $3,900 for a nursery coordinator. The nursery coordinator position is currently unfilled, so that amount could be less depending on when the position is filled. We are budgeting $18,240 for church administration expense, which includes office supplies and postage. This also includes $1,200 for the Synod Convention. Church property, budgeting $62,700, which is $3,800 less than we budgeted in 2023. Our 2023 actual came in $7,564 lower than we budgeted, and we feel supports this adjustment. Worship, we are budgeting $3,400, which is in line with what we spent last year. Witness, we are budgeting $300. Support, we are budgeting $175 more than we budgeted last year due to the increase in online and Simply Giving fees. Under faith formation, we are still budgeting $2,000 for the National Youth Gathering that happens every 3 years. Like last year, we are planning for other expenses for learning or youth events will come from the designated accounts or the balance of the youth checking. Fellowship, we have budgeted the same $700. This leaves the total expenses projected at $397,992, which is $7,484 more than we budgeted in 2023. Bottom line, our total income less expenses is projected at a negative $82,806. However, if you look at the bottom of the consolidated financial statement, we have $77,956 in general budget checking and savings. If we do end up using all the reserves, it would leave a bigger challenge in 2025, but what we have in reserves in our checking and savings will cover a proportion of the projected deficit, which means we are only short $4,850. To break even, we would need to reduce costs or generate additional income. Are there any questions on the 2024 budget? Thank you.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Okay. Yeah, and for people that didn't hear, Gail said that our deficit isn't something that we should just take for granted because we have the money for it this year. It's something that we've struggled with every single year, and it keeps getting bigger and bigger, and our solution is that, or a thing we have to keep in mind is that for our church to function, we have to be willing to give to our church. And to be able to do the things that we can do, we have to have the money to cover our budget and pay our bills. Is there any further discussion? Everyone in favor of the proposed budget for 2024? Anyone opposed? And the budget is passed. So there's 15, so the approval, the second thing for us to vote on is our approval of our benevolence dollars to mission outreach on page 30. $15,000 is recommended by the church council. This represents no change to our current position from last year. Is there any discussion on the benevolence dollars? You need a motion to adopt? Okay. Is there a... There's a motion from Sue Foxworthy and John Buckley was the second. Is there any discussion? Bearing no discussion, everyone in favor of accepting the $15,000 for the benevolence dollars? Anyone opposed? The motion carried. The council candidates on page 30. There are 3 vacancies to be filled on the 10-member council. All 3 openings are 3-year terms. 3 candidates have been found who have expressed their willingness to fill the 3 vacancies. 1, Isaac Owens, is an incumbent who is willing to return for his second 3-year term. And 2, Jason and Baldwin and Jennifer will be new to the council. I'd like to ask the 3 candidates to join me up here so the congregation can get a look at you. Well, as I understand, the thing is we have a lot of diverse worship times, and we have a lot of new people here in the past year, so not everybody is known to everyone. Word about your council, it's providing leadership for the congregation, and it's not an easy job. It's a big job and one not that we take lightly. There is much more to the task than a monthly meeting of the council. There's a lot of work that goes towards keeping our ministries vital and active, and it's accomplished through the standing committee structure. And each council member is assigned leadership in one of those 8 standing committees. We applaud the willingness of these men and women to apply their time and talents to the task of leading Mamrelund through its 158th year and beyond. I urge others to consider your willingness to serve as well on council. And Isaac is in front, and I do not know if the other two are here. Jason Baldwin and Jennifer. Pastor, would you like to speak at all on the two new members, or? I don't. Jennifer Harper.
Yeah, well, most of you know Jennifer from singing and being here, and she's been a member for her life. Jason's relatively new, and he has been ushering, communion assistant, doing other things around the church, donated a snow blower this year to the church. So they live over in Peter.
Yeah. Thank you, Pastor. I believe that is further on, maybe. So may I hear a motion to unanimously accept for election the three individuals to council for the terms indicated? Is there a second? I think it was, I know I heard John Bazard. Is there any discussion? Bearing no discussion, everyone in favor of unanimously accepting the three individuals for council? Anyone opposed? And then let's have a round of applause for the new church council members. Other candidates for the church this year there's two representatives to Synod Assembly in May and 6 members of the Endowment Committee. There's 2 newly elected ones for this year, and the Endowment Committee is a 3-year term where they have 2 people every year that are up for re-election. And there's 6 members of the 2024 Nominating Committee. May I have a motion to consent and approval of the candidates as noted above. Is there a second? Yeah. All in agreement, say aye. Pastor?
We only have one layperson as a delegate for the Synod Assembly, which is online on Zoom this year in May, and that is my wife, because I figured if I have to watch it, I'll have her sit there with me, and she has to watch it too. But if we had a couple who would be willing to watch it, you could come over to our house, we'll have lunch and drinks and all kinds of stuff. If we had a couple that just would want to come over and watch it, because Michelle doesn't really want to be a delegate, but we needed a delegate. And so, but we're short a male delegate for the convention. So anybody who would be willing to do that, speak now.
Is there anyone willing to be the Senate delegate?
What happens next year? Is it on Zoom again?
No, next year it's the election of the bishop.
As a point of order, I think it would be unconstitutional for the Synod to require that you have a male delegate and a female delegate. So you says you need a male delegate.
And we can do that. As
So, as note then, two individuals. There's one. We have one individual right now, and we are looking for another individual to have the Senate or sit in for the Senate meeting. Is there anybody that is willing to sit in?
Give up a Saturday.
Yeah.
It's to be done by dinner time.
Saturday when?
May, May 8th, is that a Saturday? That second Saturday, I think, in May.
So it'd be around May 8th then. Okay. We thank you, Sarah, for your consideration. So then we have to vote, Keith, or what's our, it's kind of getting messy. You'll amend your motion? And there's a second to the amended motion?
Let's be clear what the amended motion. The initial motion is for unanimous consent and approval of candidates for Synod Assembly, Endowment Committee, and Nominating Committee. So the amended motion is what?
Sarah as a city.
So we're amending the motion to declare Sarah Rash as another individual to sit in for the Senate Assembly meeting.
I second the amendment and
John has made the motion, and Heather Morgan would be the second.
I make a motion to approve everybody that we just talked about, including Mr. Rash.
Well, John did. So now you're making the second, and then we have discussion. Is there any further discussion? And everyone in favor of the amended motion to accept everybody, including Sarah Rash? Aye. Anyone opposed? And I'd like to thank everybody for their willingness to serve on these important posts in the congregation. Lastly, as tradition, Mamrelund, we have a time for people to make comments, remarks, and proposals or questions for the good of the church. As one thing I would like to know is would really appreciate the time Karen has served as the treasurer, but next year we are going to have a new treasurer at Mamrelund, and it's Tracy Vanderland. Okay, Sue, you raised a... Yeah. It's, is there any other questions, comments, proposals, or remarks for the good of the church? Bearing no further remarks, proposals, comments, or questions, I hereby declare the annual meeting of the congregation. Oh. Is there a... Okay. A lot of people. Is and everyone in favor? Is there anyone opposed? I hereby declare the annual meeting of the congregation now completing its 157th year of service to God and the community to be ended. Pastor, would you pronounce the benediction?
We give thanks for the Holy Spirit's presence with us today, that it blessed us and it kept us together and continues to keep us together and to shine upon us as we go forward in ministry together. Go in peace. Thank the Lord.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's not bad. It's all scripted.
You did awesome, man.
Thank you, John.
You did awesome. It's nerve-wracking up there. Point of order and all that
Thank
crap.
you.
They did very good.
I had a good script.
Yeah, I know, but you did well.